In the panel, கடைசியாக we have Kamisha from USA. அவங்கள பத்தி she's a clinical lead and she's also the youngest board member of South Florida. அவங்கள வந்து she's connecting from USA. வணக்கம் கமிஷா.
ஹாய் எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
நல்லா இருக்கேன். நீங்க எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கேன். Thank you for inviting me to be a part.
Thank you so much. Last minute, நீங்க agree பண்ணிட்டு within a short span of time, you were able to contribute a lot to us, which is very informative and useful. சொல்லுங்க உங்களை பத்தி எனக்கு சின்னதா ஒரு lead. Sorry, I didn't get a lot of time to talk to you, but
No worries.
introduction கொடுத்தது வச்சு எனக்கு தெரியும் உங்களை பத்தி. சொல்லுங்க.
Sure. So, என்னுடைய பேர் வந்து Kamisha Kumarasri. I was born in Canada, lived half my life in Canada actually before moving to the US. And I've been living in the US for the past 13 years. I am a clinical lead. I work in the medical industry here in the US for now, but I have aspirations to become a physician. And besides my professional pursuits, my personal pursuits is educating and empowering the Tamil diaspora. And here in the United States, it's not as concentrated of Tamils as it is in Canada and the UK or even Australia. Most of the concentrated states are probably going to be, New Jersey, California, New York. But here in Florida, there's only about 10,000 Tamils living in the state of Florida alone compared to a population of 23 million people in Florida. So that's a very, very small amount. But nonetheless, in the United States, there's a lot of Tamil faces, in terms of entrepreneurs like Sundar Pichai, Inder Nui, the CEO of Pepsi, a lot of Hollywood actors like Aziz Ansari, and even in the government where our vice president and current presidential nominee for the Democratic Party is half Tamil. And so there's a lot of faces of Tamil floating around in the US. But in particular in Florida, just a little bit background, these are actual images from Florida that I have. So we're at the population of 23 million people, but only 10,000 Tamils. There's a lot of great educational opportunities. We house a lot of top public universities in the nation. A lot of top 50 public universities are within Florida. There's a lot of scholarship opportunities. For example, I went to school for free in Florida, finished my bachelor's because the state of Florida has academic scholarships for students. There's a lot of international student opportunities through the H-1B visas coming in for Fulbright scholars. And if you want to pursue higher education in the US, they're always open to it and have multiple scholarships and ways to get in. Besides that, there's also attractions in Florida. We have the Everglades, the coral reefs, we have NASA, biggest launch pads, Walt Disney World, Universal Studios. So there's like a never-ending aspect to Florida. There's so much you can explore here. So if you ever want to visit, there's a lot to do. But moving on to the Tamil communities in Florida, we have multiple Indian Tamilars, Ilangai Tamilar communities in North Florida, South Florida, and Central Florida, all having their own little cultural events and classes and arts and building communities. So when I came here, I didn't really have a Tamil community. And growing up as a kid, I didn't really have Tamil friends. But eventually we found these small communities of Tamil people who came in the 1980s and formed these little organizations and would get together every few months to conduct these programs. And I was the only kid that came. There was no one else, and it was all adults. But that never stopped me from coming because it still piqued my interest. And I kind of did like the little small jobs. I would make Kolam, or I would put up setups, and I would, help around here. But we never really explored the significance of our culture besides the language. And for so long, the language was what was front and center for being Tamil. And I speak fluent Tamil, and I speak, I can sing in Tamil, I can dance to Tamil music, but it didn't really mean anything until I came across tile. and participated in one of their workshops where I started to learn a little bit more about my history. And from there, I found this need of educating our current generations and our future generations about our Tamil history and our heritage. So when I was in college, I was looking for an elective course because I wanted to do something fun. And what did I find fun was exploring my history. So I actually just Googled my university name, which is Florida International University, and Tamil. And this webpage pops up, and it's this Tamil professor at the university who had proposed a Tamil institute at the university. So I emailed her and we get to talking, and 2 years later, we bring about this initiative to establish another institute at FIU, just like they have at Berkeley and Harvard, but this one would be composed of multiple academic chairs to house different aspects of Tamil, not just the language, but the culture, the history, research, upcoming Tamilar diasporas, Malaysian Tamilar diasporas, and my own personal project, which is the Ilangai Tamilar Endowment, which will be dedicated to the research and the education of Ilangai Tamilars. So that is where I have ended up from this entire journey.
Thank you, Kamisha. Thank you. It was very apt for our last slide because your presentation was short and crisp and very informative as well.